Services Committee to order. And Dr. Cobb, would you give the invocation, please?
Please stand. Lord, we come to you and ask for your guidance in all things we do today. We ask for you that you watch out for the families of not only the Cherokee Nation, but all families across the globe. We ask specifically that you watch out for our military personnel and their families. We ask that you watch out for those of us that have passed recently, and guide us in all things we do today. Amen.
Thank you. I'm going to welcome everybody out this morning. I don't see any new faces in the audience that you probably don't know. Shelley, why don't you do the roll call for us, please?
Harley Buzzard.
Here.
Chris Stowe.
Here.
Buell England. Bill John Baker.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Julia Coates. Bradley Cobb. Joe Crittenden. Jody Fishinghawk. Here. Meredith Fraley. Here. Michelle Fulbright. Don Garvin. Tana Gloria Jordan. Present. Curtis Snell. David Thornton. Kara Callan Watts.
Mr. Baker.
You have a quorum.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I could at this time amend the agenda to add a resolution authorizing submission of a grant application to the USDA for Housing Preservation Grant. It's through David Sutherland, and it's for $40,650.
Did you hear a second to that motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. That will be the number 2 item for new businesses.
Mr. Chair, I also have like to amend the agenda for 2 resolutions. The first is a grant application to HUD for any community development. It's a block grant for the No Water Food Distribution and Elderly Nutrition Building. And the second one is a resolution adopting a maintenance and operating policy for the same building. And these I would also like to be put as a sponsor on both of these, please.
Okay, we have a motion to add those 2 to the agenda. Here, second to that motion. Been made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, we've got those added as item 3 and 4 for the last. Which one did you keep? That's for just 3. Policy was 4. Okay, we'll move on to the agenda. The approval of the minutes of the May the 12th, 2009 regular session.
No matter.
Second.
Move and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. Let's move into reports with Ms. Merriman for Human Services Department. Normally we have your report, and I think everybody's had time to review the thing, but still I'd like to give you an opportunity to tell us anything you'd like to tell us about the program.
Well, let me brag just a minute.
Okay.
I always like to do that. One of the things that we didn't get on here that happened after the report is that we had 2 of our ICW staff receive prestigious recognition through the National Resource Center for Youth Services. National organization, they do have a statewide presence, and this was a statewide award. Professionals of the Year, the Professional Manager of the Year working with youth, and these are voted on not just by any youth service throughout Oklahoma, shelters, DHS, the whole works. Tammy Haley won that award. And for the Youth Worker of the Year, same scenario, Julie Skinner won that award. We're very proud of them. We were proud of them before, and we're glad that people are now recognizing what they do and their commitment to youth. So,
What kind of work are they doing?
Tammy is the manager in Indian Child Welfare. She's one of our managers. And Julie works primarily with our teens. And those kids who are really, she's trying to do a lot of life skills and prepare them for when they'll leave us at 18 And we've stepped, I know you've heard me say that we've really stepped up our intensity with those kids over the last 2.5 years, and Julie's been one of the key people that's been involved in that.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Ismail.
I got two questions for you, Norma. We asked you last month about rental assistance, and you give us the areas where the delinquent is. Can you tell me what area 1, 2, 3 is, please?
I can't off the top of my head, but I can certainly get you that. But I'll just send it out for all.
Thank you very much.
So you want to know the numbers that are waiting in the 4 areas.
Well, you give them to us, but I want to know what area 1, what county's area 1 is, what area 2 is.
Oh, okay. I can't do that off the top of my head. David, can you do the areas off the top of your head?
Yeah, the area 1 is Wagner, Cherokee, Adair. Area 3 is Sequoia, Muskogee, McIntosh. Area 4 is Delaware, Ottawa, Maize. And Area 2 is Old Rogers, Tulsa, Nola, Washington.
Okay, and then one more question.
Figured he knew that since he's been doing that a long time.
One more question. When is the Bridges Out of Poverty workshop? I missed it last year.
When is it? Okay. And I'm glad you said that, because that was one of the things I wanted to do, is to invite you all. On the 14th and or 15th of July, we will be having an event, the Bridges Out of Poverty, which we had done last year. We felt like it was very successful, and now we want to bring it to as many employees of the nation as we can. So we did get an SBC grant to do that. It will be all day on those days. It will be at the Crescent Valley Church between here and Muskogee. You just passed Woodall. They have the largest facility that we could find in their new fellowship hall that will seat up to 800. So those 2 days will be the same basic Bridges, pardon me, Out of Poverty event, but we're repeating it so that we can get as many staff folks to attend as possible. So if you all are interested in attending, if you'll contact me, you can go through Diana Turtle, which is probably what I should have said. Go through Diana Turtle. But Dallas Pettigrew, my assistant, is coordinating that. There's no charge. We'll feed lunch because we don't want people to get away, because it's a very intense, full day. And I think that almost everyone that I know that came last year really enjoyed it and felt they got something from it.
Okay, so this is just over the first week, right? Because I know I've read the second one too.
The second one is for people who are doing the more intensive case management, and it's much smaller. That's a more intensive training. I think we can do 150, don't quote me, it's a little over 100, but I think 150. And we are reserving that day for our case managers from the various programs.
Well, I appreciate that. Can you be sure and send that to Gail or something so she can put it on our calendar?
Sure.
Thank you.
And one other thing, Norma, while we're talking about that, is this going to be made available to, I guess, other districts? And what I'm thinking about is where we have a gathering of Cherokee Nation employees, like J Clinic, No Water Clinic, Solana Clinic.
It's for everywhere.
I mean, can we take it up there instead of them coming down here? That's the problem. I've always heard that everything's happening here in Tahlequah, and we don't get any services out there because they all have jobs.
Well, let me tell you about this particular
I certainly would
training.
like to see it. Yeah.
Let me tell you about this particular training. This is very expensive training. Now, the good news is that in those trainings, that trainer can train, she could probably train 3,000 people in a stadium. It's that type of training. But we have to train as many people as we can. This is where we have the most people. You know this field. But now let me tell you the good news. Part of what we asked for in that grant was to have enough money to train Cherokee Nation folks as trainers who can do what you're talking about. So this will be part of those people's training. We have about 3 people that we're going to put through to get certified as Bridges Out of Poverty trainers. And we hope that once we get them trained, which should be, by early next year, I believe, then we'll be able to send those out to the various areas. And as we get, a number of new staff in, we can have events for them.
Okay.
So we're trying to cover that. This is the first
I think
step.
that'll satisfy me for now, but it's just, I always hear that.
I understand. I hear it too.
Bill's on and time is district. But, you know, we have Cherokee people that work for us from Jay and Salina and Washington County and Milwaukee County. So-
Me too.
And so, we hear that a lot, so we'd like to see these programs spread out a little bit more, especially the training portion of it.
And I think you'll see when you get to the resolution that you're going to pass that I'm very aware of that, and we're trying to get some stuff in Milwaukee County.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
segue to that.
Yes, yes, Ms. Jordan.
And Norma, we appreciate all your help.
Well, let me just say, if the complex were in J, everything had happened there probably.
I'm sure it would, but you know, the statements made before, whatever happens in Tahlequah can be done in other communities, and people have heard that, and they begin to get on my tail about it, and that's the reason I did. But it sounded to me like you've got it under control.
We're trying. This is the first step.
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That goes along with what Councilman Thornton and I was talking about yesterday, location. Right, David? As far as the complex.
Especially here.
We all understand. I think we understand what we're talking about. Yes, any more questions for Norma? Norma, you have any announcements that you'd like to put out?
My bragging was the only announcement I had.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We did let Adair County have the landfill.
And we thank you, Bill John.
Next, we have Charlie Self Community Services. Charlie, we have your report, and it's a nice, good, long report, and I enjoy reading it because I have an interest in community services, so I think it's a good report, and thank you for doing a good job out there. But here's the opportunity to tell us some things that you may encounter or want to tell us, or any announcements you'd like to do.
Well, I think most of the projects are moving along fairly well, and so I know there's always some other things get in the way sometimes when you do your work. So, but we try to move along as rapid as we can and serve the people to the best of our ability. And overall, I can say the staff done a good job of moving their projects along. So, if you have any questions, I can answer them at this time.
That's right.
Charlie, you and I have talked about it a couple of times, but for the council, you had a policy change on one of your programs.
You're talking about the
Self-help, or the,
yes, we
yeah,
did.
if you'll explain that.
Yeah, the emergency self-help, I think we talked about a little bit about that last meeting, and the guidelines on that was the amount of funding that the applicant request was $1,000, so we upped that up to $2,000, and so that's change has gone into effect, and so that would be something that's probably important to do because the way the economy has been, and some of the people that's really need materials, but $1,000 doesn't go much, so we upped it to that now. So.
And the income guideline, you bumped up.
Yes, we did, up to 50%. I'll send those to you if you need them, whatever. But we'll use those instead. The income guidelines has gone up quite a bit.
And I think that's going to help a lot, Charlie. That we were just getting so low that we just couldn't really qualify for it. Mr. Baker.
Yes. Charlie, would you give us an update, please, on what's happening with the Chewy community and the building there?
The Chile Community Building is one of the older self-help projects that we did in the community, and it's really a fairly large building. I don't know if you've been there or not, but I think and as you know, sometimes the funding is not available to do a complete job of putting the building in place, and of course then there's additional requests that comes in, maybe for a sink or in a hood or maybe flooring or any type of cabinets and those kinds of things. Usually we ask the people that they know that what they're getting into, and it's up to them to do a fundraiser to get most of the equipment that they need. So, but Chewy has had heating unit problems, and then I think there's some electrical problems with that. But we're going to go back in. We have a meeting scheduled, I think, within the next couple of weeks. And also, I think we're going to just probably have a community building, a community meeting for the building, because the committee, I don't think, is very active. And so we've done that in other areas where we went in and reorganized the groups and the boards. And so we're going to probably be taking that task on and help them in the way we can with that. But we are looking into it. So we'll do something with it, Jack.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Thorne.
Yes, let's back to that. $2,000 deal. Charlie, is there any way that we could take that and, like, someone receives that this year, and maybe 3 years down the road, they have something else happen that they can get it again?
Actually, we're looking at it as a one-time deal at this point, but I know that if you do some minor changes to a house that's sort of maybe older unit, then something else goes wrong, so, but we can look at that too. And at this point, the funding probably wouldn't be adequate at this point to do some of that, because we do get requests when people go out and they'll find something else wrong and they'll ask for more money.
Yeah, the funding's going to probably come every year, so we can probably increase that if need be. But let's take a person that you help them with the roof this year, or 3 years down the road, maybe the hot water heater goes out. Those people can't afford to buy a hot water heater. You know, it's tough on them. So, you know, maybe we could replace it. But, you know, not every year, but something of that nature. Thank you, sir.
Any more questions for Charlie? Thank you, Charlie.
Jody, I think we're going to help you. Your part of what you've been asking about.
Yes.
Bonita, we're going to be able to, I think.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you here in a second. Thank you.
I didn't even have to ask him if he doesn't, he knew he was up next.
Pop right up here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Just a couple of things. I don't remember if I gave you all my new phone number or not. It's over at the complex, but I want to give it to you all today. 453-5248. Kind of leads me into over at the administration building, the Housing Authority Administration building. We've had everyone had their own phone number for years, and that phone system changed recently. And to get over there to get someone in that, you can dial 456-5482, which is the main number and has been for years. And it'll go through a little menu now. Whoever you want to get, you can choose from that menu. So if you wanted Dennis Fine, you know, you find him in there and punch in his little thing, or get the operator, whichever. But that's one of them. Up in Delaware County, I want to make you aware, we've got 2 empty mutual help units at Kenwood. We've gone through our waiting list and we haven't found anyone interested. So on July the 6th, I believe, we're going to take some applications at the Kenwood Senior Nutrition site. And that'll be advertised in the local paper there. So I want to let you know that.
How does that work, David? So you got 2 mutual help sites that are empty. Are those houses aren't paid off, or how did you come to get them?
People move out, give them back for whatever reason. Sometimes we have people pass away and there's no successor. Sometimes we have to evict somebody out of it. So it could be a number of ways that we get them back. We've probably gotten more back in the last 12 months than we've ever gotten back, where people just assign them back to us. They don't want them anymore, can't afford them anymore, or think they can't afford them anymore, whatever the reason. But that's how we get those back. When we go to fill them, we go to the waiting list, just like we would if we were building them, and we go down until someone either takes the house or no one takes the house, and then we advertise. Get somebody in.
I mean, you advertise it for sale?
Advertise it to take the applications.
Oh, I see.
We keep them ourselves.
You keep them?
Yeah, and then we put somebody on the program.
I see. Okay.
And we just recently took some applications in Nowata County, I believe, and maybe Craig County, for some empties up there. So occasionally we have to do that. Generally never do it in Cherokee or Adair County or Sequoia County. We got plenty of applicants for those counties. I think you all had some discussion yesterday with Michael Lynn from the roads on the housing additions. I just want to address that a little bit. The way this was set up, Michael's got contracts or agreements with the counties in place to do roads. And he's the one that's kind of handling this for me. He's been real good about doing that. But the more I kind of looked into it, we provide money for the materials, and the county commissioners provides the equipment and labor to put it down. When they procure the materials, they're really not complying with the Indian preference regulations. And that's the problem. I've talked with Michael. He's notified the counties to put it on hold until we get something in place. We'll either have to do that through the Cherokee Nation, or may look and see if the counties can do that themselves to give the Indian preference. I don't know if that's possible or not, but we're going to explore it and try to get a bid out this week.
So what we're really looking at is bidding out the asphalt portion of it.
Right.
And I don't know that there's any air vendors that sell asphalt.
I kind of
Maybe it may not be, so it may not be a problem.
Here's my thinking on it. It could be that Marvin Jones wants to bid on it. He's going to bid from the same plant that the county commissioners, and he make a little profit on it. He's a taro vendor, so I think we got to give him the opportunity to do that.
And that's fine. I think we've all talked about taro, and I don't see that being a big problem. I think if that's the law, then we need to follow it, David, but we'd like to try to move along as fast as we can, and whichever way it passes, I think that's the way we'd like to see it done. And then I want to make sure that we understand this money is still coming out of the old IHB plan. That's what I take it.
Now, we've got some stimulus money identified also,
I understand.
but specifically what we're talking about right here is the mod money.
Ms. Jordan, did you have a question?
Well, I think he's answered it. You said the bids you were going to try to get the bids out.
We're going to try to get bids out this week.
And Mr. Baker had a question.
And David, maybe you can't answer this, and maybe I need to ask somebody else, but how would that not be a front company? If all the taro vendor was doing was going to the same supplier that we went to and bid, 5% more, and I mean, when you apply for taro, you apply for taro as a backhoe operator, or you apply as a retailer, you apply as a something, but to be we do have some taro vendors that do road work, and I guess maybe they could bid
Possibly
on
supply the material.
materials, but I mean, we don't have any taro vendors that are asphalt distributors or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm a little wondering how that wouldn't be just a front company.
I'm to be honest with you, I'm not an expert in the taro law.
Yeah.
So I don't know really what it takes to get taro certified. But if someone could be a supplier of materials and call themselves that, that's just what we're doing. We're buying materials. We may want to buy widgets, and they say, hey, I can get widgets too.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Okay.
Ms. Locke.
Thank you. How is it, how do you work with taro then for all your?
What we do is we prepare or get the bid packet together, give the information to purchasing, and then they take it from there. They're to give the Indian preference, taro preference, or however it's described. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
Were you ever able to resolve, because I know some of my taro vendors were concerned, and I absolutely support the MAP program. I'm not advocating that because of taro we need to go back to some other model. But there was a loss of potential contracts for them because we went from the model where we built homes, where we controlled taro, the bidding process. But we don't push out taro preference in any form or fashion then with the mortgage assistance through the realtors or the people who may be selling homes. I don't even know if it's feasible, but we had asked about if it was even considered somehow.
Well, that'd be tough.
I know, that would be extremely tough, but.
I'm not sure on that one. That's for somebody that's a little more knowledgeable than I on how to get that accomplished. That'd be tough.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Ms. Jordan.
David, what's your best guess estimate as to time if you are able to get the bidding process started this week on the materials, when can we hand it to the county commissioners to go ahead and complete their end of it?
Well, I'm not all that familiar with the time frame over here of how long it had to be out there, but if it was each one was bid, it could be phone bid individually, I believe. Could be by the 1st of July.
Yeah, I would think they'd want to get it done this summer for sure.
Yeah.
Would you be able to keep us updated
I will keep
by
you-
email on the process?
I sure will.
And when we actually hand it off to the commissioners to do their portion of it?
I can do that.
Okay,
Sure
thank
can.
you very much.
The last thing I want to talk about was some information in my report. I just wanted to bring it. We did have 5 new map foreclosures during the month of May. But one of those we did get a check on yesterday, so I guess they refinanced somehow and paid us off at one in Sequoia County, $5,180. But I think what the run on them is there was a, man can speak up and help me here, but I think there was a kind of a grace period for a while there on filing foreclosures. I think that grace period ended, and we saw a bump or a spike in those. We've seen a few bankruptcies also, which is more than normal. Not just in MAP or any other program, but in all the programs, seen several bankruptcies recently. So business is good on the legal end of the housing, but just wanted to call your attention to that. But it's still, I think, compared to other parts of the country, we're still in pretty good shape here, comparatively speaking.
Yeah, Ms. Jordan.
On the, David, on the 3 Title VI foreclosures that you have down, is the Housing Authority looking at possibly
I visited with the
buying out of those?
I visited with the board last month about we've got some Title VIs that aren't moving quite as fast as and it's basically location. We've had some tough up in northern Rogers County. Had a lot of interest up in there. But anyway, what I visited with them about was buying those, Housing Authority buying them, putting them on one of the existing programs, and because based on income of some sort, we're able to fill those much quicker and help some families out also. Tonight, we're actually going to talk about a little more in depth. I got some actual pictures of houses, so they'll have something to look at and fill up and get a little more better perspective.
David, on the MAP program for on Title VI houses, I believe those people are eligible for the water and sanitation portion of what we offer here at the nation. So I think we really need to take a look at that because you're looking at $10,000 to $12,000 of investment in it already. So that's a savings. So I think that when you talk to them, you may want to bring that to the forefront that we have several $1,000s invested in those properties already.
There was like a special allocation to water and sanitation from IHS to work on some of those. I don't remember how many, but
Yeah, I remember getting that special allocation for Title VI homes. So that's a good selling point, I think, that try to repurchase those. We've got some money invested in them. Go ahead, sir.
that's the end of my report.
Okay, thank you, David. Thank you. Next we have Commerce with Anna.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You have a copy of my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Well, Anna, it looked like a pretty detailed report for me. I don't have any questions about the plan, so I think it pretty much explains itself. But at the same time, I do have one. On the first bullet up here, families housed, and you have 155 families receiving mortgage assistance. Is David reporting the same houses as this, or is this a separate report?
This is just the families that have received mortgage assistance. I'm not, are you reporting?
So would that be on your report too, David?
My report reflects what Shay sends. And I think it's, includes Title VI, rehab, anything that's going to foreclosure.
So his is just foreclosure. This is the number of families that have received mortgage assistance.
So this is a separate number then?
Yes.
So I would, if I said, well, we've helped 500 people this year, I wouldn't be double counting this. Okay. Yes, Ms. Jordan?
Anna, is this through June or through May?
This would be through May.
Okay, so you have 4 months to reach your goal of 300. Is that still going to be obtainable?
I believe it will. With the people that we have in the pipeline, we'll be lucky to make it through the end of the year with the MAP money.
Okay.
So we do anticipate it'll all be dispersed.
So you are on track to reach your goal of 300.
We are.
Okay. Any more questions for them? Thank you, Ann. That's good report. I have a couple more people. David, I've got Charlie before you, then I'll ask you to come up. Okay. You didn't see Charlie. He was waving behind you.
Sometimes you think you did a good job and you find out you messed up. One thing I did forget to mention was the ICDBG stimulus monies we were looking at for Kenwood system. And so we'll be able, if we do get it, then it's one of those stimulus projects for first come, first served basis. So we submitted a proposal for that. And if we get it, we're asking for a grant in the amount of $370,000, and which will replace the new manholes, repair and replace existing lines and reline the lagoons. So that's one of the things that we hope we get funded for. And the other thing is, I think Marvin wants to talk a little bit about some of the HOSTA stimulus, a couple of things. So I'll turn it over to Marvin. Thank you.
I saw that in your report, Charlie. Is this on the competitive grant that you're trying to get these dollars from? Okay. Thank you. Come on up, Charlie. We'll give you 5 minutes to talk.
Okay. That's all I need. On May the 27th, HUD issued the competitive notices of funding for both the NAHOSTA funding and the Indian Community Development Block Grant. And with those publications, I don't think anybody anticipated that the criteria was first come, first served. We had always anticipated that of course, they would be competitive and that we would submit applications both for ICDBG and NAHOSTA and compete against everybody else. But the way they issued on both was first come, first served. You submit an application, there is a point system. If you get the minimum number of points, you can get your applications approved as long as they still have money, which forced us then to submit applications. We've already submitted both applications, both what Charlie just spoke about in regard to ICDBG and the HOSTA, because we simply didn't feel like we could wait, a month or two to submit it. So the purpose of me coming here now is to inform you that we applied for those two, and we have applications in. Charlie just mentioned the ICDBG. On the NAHOSTA piece, we were eligible to submit any number of $5 million applications, but the way that it works is only your first application gets considered until all of the tribes are able to submit an application, and so whoever submits applications in the first round gets considered first. So what that means is, let's just give an example. There's 242 million. If the second day they receive $242 million worth of applications, all the first applications of the 550 or so tribes, then all of those met the minimum criteria, all the money would be gone. So in that kind of situation, we said, okay, we're going to submit one. So we did submit one on a week ago Monday. It came out May the 27th, and we submitted it, would be June the 8th, I believe. It got to Denver. What we applied for in the first application, the $5 million, you heard a month or two, I think, in the Resources Committee meeting about two large sites that Natural Resources had purchased with NAHOSTA funds. One of them called the Redbird site in Sequoia County. The other, they called it the Guthrie, or what I call the Fairfield site in Adair County. The applications that we submitted was to develop the infrastructure in those two sites, as well as construct 15 houses on the Redbird site. That constituted the $5 million application. One of the things that you had to do was, it was limited as to what you can apply for, in that you had to spur construction or rehabilitation. So, for example, we might have thought, well, you know, we need a bunch more money for rental assistance. Well, that doesn't necessarily spur construction or rehabilitation, so that would not necessarily be a viable application that we could submit. So, purpose of coming up here is to inform you that that's what we applied for in the first application. Commerce, through Anna, is working on the second application. Whether or not it even gets considered is really debatable, questionable. But the second application consists of a mortgage assistance program that bumps up the amount to be only used for new construction. So I believe it was $35,000 from what we're granting people right now, $15,000. And so this would be granting people $35,000, and they could only use it to go secure construction loans, more construction mortgages. And the ideal would be to put a little bit of money, $35,000 for each family, and then to spur construction and spur job growth.
That's, well, I hope both of these grants come through, because they sound like good grants. Question from Ms. Jordan.
Marvin, how long will it be before the application goes in on the mortgage assistance program for the $35,000?
I don't think it's done yet. I had worked a little bit with Shay on it a week or so ago, but I don't think it's ready yet. I think probably next week. Probably be next week.
Did you say the quicker it goes in,
yes,
the more chance it has of getting approved?
Yes. In theory, the first round was just critical. You know, if we didn't get something in, we didn't have any idea of that. You know, how many people were going to submit. And we don't, and HUD won't tell us today, you know, how many will have submitted. But the second round, if they get to a second round, will be decided first of all by the time and date of the application. Those will be considered first, and then if there's money available, and then if those applications meet the minimum number of points, then it will be selected in that manner. So it is critical as far as the time and date as to when it's submitted.
Good. Well, good luck on both of them. I hope we get them both.
Okay.
Anything else, Mark?
Nothing other than our 12 o'clock meeting, and I hope, you know, we have a lot of budget issues that we might want to talk about at that, so I encourage everybody to
okay. Yes, we encourage everyone to stick around for that if they'd like. Okay, Mr. Sutherland, you had something else you didn't do? Okay.
I forgot to do it while getting up there while I was speaking.
All right, sounds good. Okay, we're moving on to old business. I see now we're moving on to new business, and the first one is the resolution. And I believe, Linda, are you here to present this? You want to give us just a quick overview of it? John A. Ketcher, youth shelter in addition.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, Linda, just hang on a minute. We have a motion to approve and second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. While you're up here, let's go ahead and just give about a 1 minute quick overview of what it is, so everybody will know.
Okay, this is a HUD proposal for Rural Housing and Economic Development Project for the John A. Ketcher Youth Services Center. And what we're proposing is 3 single-room occupancy units. And those are, if we're funded and it gets constructed, is to help those who need transitional living needs for ages 18 to 21. So it'll be an extension of those who are not allowed to stay within our shelter, and to provide further assistance in the way of education and get them started and living independently on their own. And then renovation for the shelter itself too, because we do have some refurbishing needs that are greatly needed right now. So hopefully, this grant does get funded to help us with that.
All right, thank you. That's a good overview. And I apologize to the committee members, because some of us may not read these all, and we do kind of need to know what I knew, and most of us think, when you put a resolution here, it's great, and so we don't have a lot of discussion, but I certainly want to make the other committee members aware of what we are doing. So thank you. Okay. All right, moving on to the next item, would be item 2, which was the housing preservation grant. David, you want to give us a quick overview of that?
This is just a $40,650 grant. We use it in conjunction with the KIP program. It's not a whole lot of money, but every little bit helps.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
The next one is for the HUD grant.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. These are first was a grant for the No Water Food Distribution Elderly Nutrition Building. The second one is operating policy, and I am listed as a sponsor on this, but I think Councilor Hoskin may have a little bit more detail on this if you'd like to explain it.
Well, this is going to construct a building. I don't know if Norma's here now. I don't know if it's construction or an existing facility that's there.
No, it's construction.
It'd be construction of a facility for food distribution and other services from time to time at this building. It's very, very needed in that area, and I'm not on the committee, but would Dr. Cobb agree to add me as a co-sponsor at full council? I'd appreciate it.
That's fine. So we have a motion to...
The first one is the grant.
Okay.
So I would move for...
Okay. A motion and a second. And we want to add Councilor Hoskins as the co-sponsor on that. Make sure that's done. So all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. And now we go to the fourth one.
It's the operating policy for the same buildings.
Second. Motion's been made and second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign.
And we're also adding Chuck as a co-sponsor on number 4.
Yes. Let's go ahead and add Chuck, and I don't know if he was on there, but let's do that. I believe that's all we have. Any announcements? Yes, Mr.
Chairman, and this isn't on the agenda, so if I'm out of order, let me know. But would you consider moving this meeting to Monday for a period of time to see how that works? And we'll be asking Chairman Cobb the same thing on the Health Committee to see if we can get our work done in a single day on Monday. What are your thoughts on that, if I'm in order to ask?
I'm pretty flexible about any meeting as far as I'm concerned, because it doesn't affect my schedule, and so I can be here any time of the day. If we were going to do something like that, I would like to have, and it doesn't matter, if my meeting stays at 9 o'clock, that's fine, but I would like to have the resources immediately following that meeting, because I'll tell you why. Because if you look at my meeting agenda, it's getting longer and longer and longer, and I'm taking the roads portion and putting into community services. So if we run over, then I'm into resource, which that's where the roads report came from. So look at that. If you can work it out, I'm fine with any schedule. It's up to the other chairman of what they want to do, but as far as I'm concerned, we can do it.
Do you need a motion to do that?
Not really.
Well, I don't know that we need a motion. I think when they were set up, I don't know if we had a motion to set them. We just set them here as a committee.
You need a show of hands of who would like to see it on Monday.
Probably that's the way to do it. Yeah, let's discussion on the thing.
I would ask that this be postponed just for the fact that there are so many people who are not here today.
And it's probably a good idea, but I think that, I don't know if the people that are here would, would anybody want to voice, have a comment about it right now, but allow that.
I think it'd be a good idea. We've made provisions in the past for certain individuals so that we could see that, make sure that they could come to meetings. And I think Councilor Hoskins has indicated an interest, and I think that we ought to move it to Monday to embrace his ability to come to the meetings.
On the other hand, I think moving them all onto one day would create a hardship for the at-large councilors to a great extent, because we have run into a couple of situations where we've got weekend events somewhere else, and it's very, very difficult to even get back here for the 3 and 4 o'clock meetings on Monday from other places. And I think that we have seen in the last couple of days that we have subcommittee meetings, we have other sorts of things that tend to stack up. It just becomes an awful lot for one day, it seems to me. So those would be my, I would be opposed to it at this time.
I guess I'd be curious that we would not do this on the basis of sporadic, granted it's official business, but sporadic weekend work that causes travel concerns. My thought is, and I appreciate the idea that it does make for a long day, but my thought is, let's give it a try, and I think time will tell if it's too burdensome on us and the staff. But our other option is to keep it the same, and that may be the easiest option, but I will, because of my schedule, won't be able to participate on any Tuesday morning meetings on a regular basis.
Okay, well, let's give it some thought, and I'm flexible on anything that we want to do. I know some of the other people would like to accommodate everybody, but sometimes it's just impossible to accommodate everyone. So think about it, and if we want to bring it back, we may talk to Mr. Baker, and we can discuss it a little further in his committee, but we probably shouldn't act, we won't act on anything today, just for discussion. So keep it in mind, and maybe some of the chairmen can get together and work out some things that are equitable to each one of us here. So we'll leave it at that today. Okay? Yes, Ms. President.
Looking at it from a business standpoint and from an expense standpoint, which is better? I haven't calculated. Has anyone run any numbers on it?
Not that I know of. I do. Yes, Ms. Jordan.
I do know that at one time when we were looking at it, Councilor Cobb provided me with some numbers of the overnight stay, and there is an expense of about $3,000 to having it on 2 days. We would save that much by having it on the one day. And that was one of the things that caught my interest, was the savings part.
Okay. Well, I'm going to end the discussion on this. What I said a while ago, it doesn't matter to me, this is whatever the body wants, I'm for it, or it doesn't matter. I'm pretty much accommodating to any schedule. So with that being said, do we hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Just have one or two names.
I remember the numbers.
Yeah.